A whirlwind love affair turns into a nightmare for a woman and her 2 daughters. A con man has entered their lives and has turned everything upside down. The girls are convinced he's up to no good and go on the hunt for answers. Will it be too late to save their mom's life? Find out on this week's episode of Two Crime Newsies. Hi everyone, I'm Jen.
And I'm Tina.
Thank you for being with us.
I have a coffee buzz.
You do. Yeah. Tina looks like she's about to blast off over here.
Which is exciting because we're going to talk about something. I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's definitely interesting.
It's interesting. This week we are talking about a Dateline episode called The Women and Dirty John.
The Women and Dirty John.
I watched it on Peacock. Where did you watch it?
I also watched it on Peacock because once you tell me where you find it, that's where I go. You're like, hey, Tina, I'm watching this Dateline episode on Peacock. And I say, great, that's where I'm going.
I love the way our friendship works. So this episode is narrated by Keith Morrison, who I always love it when he does the Dateline episodes because his voice is just so like...
I love his voice. Voice made for podcasting.
Definitely.
For sure.
Or television, obviously.
And obviously, yeah, that's right. He's great.
He's done pretty well for himself, I think.
I think so.
Now, the person who is referred to as Dirty John is someone by the name of John Meehan.
Ugh, stop saying his name.
I know. He is this con man.
In your notes, you describe him as handsome, tall, doctor, charismatic, ill. I'm so grossed out by him.
Okay,
fully.
And those aren't my words. I'm not looking at the pictures and being like, oh, no, not at all. But that's like the words that are used to describe him in the show.
You're right. That's how they describe it. And guess what I did? I didn't write those words down. Because I said, absolutely not. No. He doesn't deserve this. I will not call him handsome. He is not. He is creepy.
He is pretty creepy.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Go on.
So we meet a couple of people throughout the show, but the main people that Mr. Keith Morrison speaks to are Deborah Newell, who ends up marrying John Meehan, and she is a very successful business owner in Newport Beach, California. So it's this beach community, and she owns an interior design business. She owns
a moving company and a silk flowers business, and she's in her 50s, and she's single and has 2 daughters.
Yep.
But we only see and hear from one of the daughters.
Yeah. She's looking for love.
Deborah is, not the daughter.
She's looking for love.
In all the wrong places.
Ugh.
Truly.
Yes. So she goes online, I'm assuming to one of those like eHarmony. I don't know if that's like a thing.
eHarmony. Do we know what year this is even in? This is around the year 2014, Jen. So I don't think this is eHarmony-ish.
I don't know. I've never actually been on a dating app. I've never been on a dating app
either. But when I think of eHarmony, I think of the 90s for some reason. I don't know why, but I do.
Did we have computers? Yeah, we had computers in the 90s because remember Y2K was like that huge thing where everybody's worried about computers crashing.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. She's him somewhere online on one of these dating sites.
Yeah. He presents himself as a doctor, an anesthesiologist. On his dating profile thing, doing a year in Iraq where he was volunteering with Doctors Without Borders. That sounds like a pretty good, safe dude to go on a date with.
I mean, if he's truthful, I have friends who are on dating apps, and one of the things I've learned from them, no, not eHarmony, but they're probably worse actually than eHarmony, but one of the things I learned from these people is nobody is who they say they are on the line.
On the line?
Yes. That's what I call it. On the line, because it's fake.
She meets Mr. John or Dr. John Meehan, and he takes her out on this first date, and he doesn't just take her to like Mickey D's here. He takes her out to a nice dinner and wines and dines her. wines and dines.
Not dies her, dines.
She goes on to say that he basically sweeps her off her feet. Now, Deborah has 2 daughters, as Tina stated before, one of which we meet named Tara, who went to cosmetology school. She loves dogs, so she instead decided to become like a dog groomer. And she openly states that she and her sister are pretty judgmental about the dudes that her mom dates.
As they should be.
Right? Ugh. They're super protective of her mom, she says. And as soon as she met John, she was worried about her mom.
She was. I do like that it does say that Tara has an Australian Shepherd named Cash, and that she loves dogs because they're not evil unless they're taught to be. I like that.
Yeah.
She said that.
Yeah.
I also have a red flag in my notes. Throughout watching this, I was very careful to point out all of the red flags.
Which there are a lot.
They're everywhere. I mean, what is this, a sports game? Just throwing out red flags left and
throw
right.
Out yellow flags in sports games, Tina.
Anyway, you know what I mean, okay?
They're throwing out flags. That was the whole thing. Like, while watching this show, I was just, at one point in time, I wanted to yell at the TV, like, get it together.
I agree. Here's one red flag. On their second date, John shows up in scrubs because he tells her that he just came from an operation.
That's gross.
In my notes, I said, so John, you're going out to eat in attire you are wearing in an operating room that could also have bodily fluids?
That's gross.
I'm grossed out.
Yeah, that's nasty.
That is nasty.
I see this sometimes, and you probably have too. Like, you go to Target or you go wherever, and you see people running around in scrubs. And I literally wonder, I'm like, what kind of bodily fluids did you come in contact with today?
You see, some of the things, when I see people walking around like that, I normally think, oh, because everybody in the office wears scrubs, right? Front office people.
That's true.
So I just assume they're, administrative and they don't have bodily fluids on them.
The word bodily fluid.
Disgusting.
Yuck. Deborah's daughter's instantly suspicious of John. Don't like him. John sweeps Deborah off her feet. She thinks he's the perfect guy. He's running errands for her. He's always there for her. He's doing everything for her.
The bar is low.
Tell us how you really feel. After dating for 2 months, in December of 2014, Deborah goes to Vegas for a work thing, is what they say on the show. And John tags along. I mean, I would go to Vegas too. Like, my partner's going, like, I want to go. They secretly get married at the courthouse.
Before this happens, though, we do hear that John moved in his stuff into Deborah's house pretty soon after they started dating. And Deborah talks to a counselor about this because the girls are unhappy about it. And the counselor says that she needs to have rules for these girls, that Deborah has a right to be happy.
I wonder, the way it was presented in the show, I kind of wonder if he was the one who suggested this particular counselor.
Oh, I didn't think about that, but yeah.
Just where it was like, you need to set boundaries for your kids. Like, they shouldn't be telling you this kind of stuff. Like, da-da-da-da. It makes me wonder if he was the one like, hey, honey, I have this great counselor. Like, let's go see him or her.
Yes, definitely could be.
Mm-hmm.
So they get married in Vegas, and Deborah decides not to tell anyone because she knows that the girls are not going to be happy about it.
I would be pissed.
And red flag, again, you mentioned this, John is running errands for Deborah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we learned that John is driving Deborah's car because John claims that while he was in Iraq with Doctors Without Borders, he says he was robbed. His house, his clothes, and his car. We don't know specifically what this means. What do you mean they robbed your house, clothes, and car? Like, that you still have a house, right? They didn't up and pick up your house and take it. Where's your house? And he says that he's working with an insurance company on a claim. That's what he's telling Deborah.
But he's a doctor.
And how was he getting to work before he meets Deborah? As a doctor,
Not just a doctor, he's an anesthesiologist, which is one of the higher paying doctors out there.
He could still afford to get another vehicle while he's working with the insurance company on his claim.
And if he didn't want to buy one, go to Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Absolutely, yeah. But instead, he's driving around Deborah's car. And the daughters are suspicious about this too.
I would be too.
Yeah, thank you. Someone has to be.
100%. So what do? This is the cool part.
Yes. They put a tracker on Deborah's Tesla, the one that John drives. And they find out?
They find out that he's going to multiple doctor's offices, but not staying there for long. Now, I know some people are like, well, he is a doctor. Like, it makes sense that he's going to doctor's offices. Well, the daughters think since he's not staying long at these locations, that he maybe is a drug addict who's trying to get access to drugs at doctor's offices.
What a smart thing to think. I don't think I would have thought of that.
I don't know if I would have made that jump.
No.
But at that point too, though, like if you have a gut feeling like a person is bad, you're not going to go to the things that are like, oh, they're just doing their job. You're going to go to the worst of things.
Yeah. What could he be doing there? That's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, that could be one.
Well, they weren't too far off. That's for sure. The girls go on to hire a private investigator who found out that John, in fact, was not a doctor.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Seriously. Nor is he an anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
They did find out, the private investigator finds out that he did once work as a nurse anesthetist. I had trouble with that word.
I can't say that word. I can't say that word.
And the private investigator also finds out that John had not been to Iraq with Doctors Without Borders. Instead, he was an inmate in jail.
He was locked up, which is one of the things Deborah in this show says. One day she is doing things around the house and she finds this letter that is addressed to John. Well, they're married at this point, so she opens up the letter. Well, the letter was from an inmate in jail, and John had told her that he was pen pals with people who are locked up.
I do have that written as a red flag.
The girls tell their mom that John had been in jail, that he wasn't just pen pals with people, like he had in fact been in jail himself. And Deborah goes on to believe John when he says that he was framed.
Yeah, she says 90% of her, we hear from Deborah, 90%. Deborah wonders after hearing this information, am I going to throw away the person that I fell in love with without trying to work it through? Yes, Deborah. Yes, you are.
Curb.
Run away and don't look back. If 90% of you believes this information, what are you doing?
I know.
Instead, she forgives him.
I know.
She forgives him. And not only does she forgive him, she buys a house in Las Vegas for John to live there, away from her family. And Deborah decides to split her time between that house and her home in Orange County. And while she's doing all of that, the daughters are still at work.
They're sleuthing.
They're not giving up.
They find out that he has criminal reports. He has arrests. He has drug convictions. When he is questioned about these things, he claims that he was a victim of mistaken identity.
I wrote, haha.
Like, I feel like this dude is just digging himself in this giant hole, but he's comfortable with it.
He says he was framed.
It's one of those things where you're just like, how can you believe the nonsense coming out of your own mouth?
That's right. And while they're digging for this information, the daughters also find out that their mom is actually married to him. Because remember, she didn't tell anybody. But they find out, I'm assuming they find her paperwork, her marriage certificate, and then they refuse to speak to her. They're done. They're done.
I mean, I would be too, I think.
Yeah. And they also find a police report from Laguna Beach where John was arrested for stalking a woman 2 years before this happened. And the investigator finds out that John has rented an office space where they find what?
They find zip ties, cyanide, and 2 loaded guns. And John, of course, because John has an answer for everything, says that he has multiple sclerosis. He has MS. And so he keeps the cyanide handy in case the pain gets too bad for himself or too bad for him and he decides to kill himself.
I can't with this dude.
Like, he's so full of it.
So full of it. And she believes him. 90% of her. Well, no, I'm sorry. 90% of her doesn't believe him. 10% of her does.
Well, while all this is going on, the girls speak to a detective in Ohio. Now, John used to live in Ohio.
And they find out this detective because when they find the paperwork, he's on the paperwork, right? When they find all the incriminating evidence of John having some criminal cases and stuff, this detective is on the court documents.
Yep.
I think is where they find it.
I think so too.
Okay. Detective Dennis Lucan tells them that, or tells us, he tells the show that John's a bad dude, he says.
So bad.
That their mom needs to run because there's all sorts of craziness in John's life.
Yeah.
John, he says, supplied the opioids that killed his addicted brother, John's addicted brother. John, the detective said, was also alone when his sick father died suddenly.
Sketchy.
Super sketch. And he definitely says John is a con artist.
His thing is he likes to go on dating websites and find women who've got some money behind them.
That's right.
Lucan says that John cons these women into dating him. He takes their money and then he threatens them and terrorizes them. And one of the people that he actually threatened and terrorized was his ex-wife, who we hear from on this show. A lady by the name of Tanya Bales. She was married to John while he lived in Ohio. She says that she met John in the late 80s when he told her he was in law school. Well, it turns out he had been kicked out of law school at the time. But he told her because she was a nurse, anesthetist.
Yes, anesthetist.
Yes,
that's a hard
we
one to
can't
say
it. That was her job. He wanted to do it too. So they were married in early 1990, and she helped put him through nursing school. And they had 2 kids together. And while all this was going on, Mr. John apparently wasn't happy at home, and so he had a little thing on the side.
Tanya finds out that John is having an affair. And here's another red flag I wrote down. Tanya says that John refused to invite his family to their wedding. Tanya has never met John's family. Tanya says in her wedding video, when she went back to watch it, she saw one of John's groomsmen say that John's nickname was Filthy John Meehan. And that is when she got the little red flaggies.
I mean, I feel like if one of my husband's friends was referring to him as filthy, I'd be like,
why?
What'd you do?
What did you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Tanya calls John's mother.
Who they had never spoken before.
Never. And John's mother tells Tanya, I knew you'd call me someday.
That'd be like, ding, 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 red flags. Those sirens are going off.
Another one. John's mother says John had been stealing, cheating, and lying for years. And he's even lied about his age. Tanya finds out that John is 5 years older than what he actually says he is.
How crazy is that? Oh.
And he's also been convicted of cocaine trafficking.
Oh, I don't mean to laugh. It's
it's so
all
much.
These red flags.
It's so much. Tanya finds a box of John's stash of drugs, and she tells the authorities that she thinks that he's using his position as a nurse, anesthetist.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
To steal drugs.
That's terrible.
And that's when John, she says, turns on her. And you can hear his voice in phone conversations that she records of him. And his voice is so freaking creepy.
And he's just like making these, they're threats, but he doesn't like go out and openly say like, I'm going to kill you or anything like that. He knows what he's saying, and he chooses his words very deliberately to scare her.
Yes, he absolutely does. Here's one of the threats that he gave to Deborah, which is like that. He said, I know where you are. It's not going to be for long.
Yeah, that would scare me.
Definitely choosing your words carefully and being a terrorist. So Tanya recalls that John told her stories about the mafia, how if they want to get back at you, they don't kill you, but they kill someone you love.
Petrifying.
Because then you live in pain for the rest of your life, knowing that your actions caused the death of your loved one, and now you don't have that person.
That's terrible.
Is evil. So John is arrested for making threats against Tanya in 2001. He's convicted of menacing and put on probation. And in jail, we also learned that John conned his way to getting more drugs by claiming he fell off of a bunk so that he can get pain medication. And Detective Dennis Lucan, while he's telling us about John and his horrible ways, says that John was the most dangerous, deceitful, manipulative criminal that he's investigated in 40 years of law enforcement.
That's
this man.
Ugh. What a piece of. Ugh.
What a piece of work.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying it.
That's a nice way of saying it. What a piece of work.
You're much kinder than me.
Well.
So back to Deborah in California. She finally starts believing her family.
She notices that John's trying to isolate her from them.
I wrote, finally, Deborah, you're seeing it.
Bulb goes off.
Right?
It's about time.
April of 2016, Deborah finally files for an annulment. This happens after John starts sending naked pictures of her to coworkers and clients. She says that he stole her car and burnt it. And so she went into hiding for 6 months.
She buys a dark wig. She wears different clothes. She gets a rental car. She stays in different hotels. And she goes to all the places that he wouldn't suspect her to go.
It's basically like she's on the run.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I know.
We get to August 19th of 2016 when everyone is worried that John is going to hurt or kill either Deborah or Tara's sister. Now, on August 19th, they see John outside of their apartment. And so they know that he's stalking him. So now, on August 20th of 2016 is when it basically comes to a head. Like, it all goes down. On August 20th, 2016, in the show, we meet a girl named Skylar who opens up the scene and tells us that she's a lifeguard, okay? She's a teenage lifeguard in Newport Beach. And
junior lifeguard in training.
A junior lifeguard in training, thank you, in Newport Beach. And she hears a woman screaming outside of the apartment building where she lives. And instead, listen to what this 14-year-old girl does. Instead of running and just calling for help, she runs outside to help whoever is screaming.
I love that there's people like this in this world.
Like 14 years old.
Amazing.
So she runs to the parking lot while her mom calls 911. And she says that she saw a man stabbing a girl. What we find out is Tara, who is Deborah's daughter, was with her dog Cash. This cute little, what is he? An
Australian Shepherd.
He's adorable.
He's so cute.
He's like one of those little like herding dogs.
Yep.
Oh, and he was protecting her.
Absolutely.
Tara gets out of the car with Cash. John is standing right there and he's waiting for them. He tries to push Tara into the trunk of his open car, okay? And she starts hitting him. She is fighting for her life.
The man is 6'2", a foot taller than Tara.
That's terrifying.
And while he is pushing her, Tara tells us that he's hitting her with a bag that has something hard in it.
Turns out that bag had a knife in the bag that was stabbing her. He puts his hand over her mouth and she bites him. Now, at the same time, little Cash, the adorable little Australian Shepherd, starts biting John.
Go Cash!
I know! And in this whole scuffle, they're thrown onto the ground. And she is kicking him, trying to kick the knife, while he's like literally stabbing her. At one point in time, Tara, badass, I even wrote this badass woman, way to go, girl. She kicks the knife out of his hand and it lands by her side, and she picks up the knife and starts stabbing him in the head.
In the head.
Like, go, Tara. And I can just imagine this whole scene. Like, she's down on the bottom. He's on top of her. She's stabbing him in the head. I'm assuming Cash is still wailing on him, biting him. Chaos, right?
Chaos. Complete chaos.
And what does she do? Tara, we find out, is a huge fan of the show The Walking Dead.
I gotta watch a show now.
It's so good. You've never seen The Walking Dead?
I don't like zombies, but man, does it save her life.
But the first 3 seasons I watched, and it's good. And you find out on the show, which Tara says as well, that in order to kill these zombies that have been turned,
evil zombies, she calls them.
They're totally evil. They're zombies, Tara. Or they're zombies, Tina. Zombies are not nice. In order to kill a zombie, you have to stab him in the head. You stab him in the eye, you stab him in the head. So what does Tara do? She takes the knife, and so she's stabbing John Meehan in the head, and she stabs him in the eyeball.
Unreal. She says, in order to kill an evil zombie, you have to stab him in the head. You have to kill their brain.
It's so true.
It's nuts to me, but she was defending herself. But the strength that you have to do this, like, you've been stabbed yourself.
Yeah.
You're also injured, and then you have the strength to stab someone in the skull and in the eyeball. I mean, absolutely crazy to me.
I mean, power to this woman. If I lived in Newport Beach and I needed a dog groomer for whatever reason, like, I would go to her. I would totally go to her.
Absolutely. So yeah, she's a dog groomer. We didn't mention that before.
So go see Tara in Newport Beach if you live out there. The police finally show up. I'm assuming at this point to Tara, it must have seemed like it was like hours of this going on, when realistically it was probably only a couple minutes, but still though. So she stabs him in the head, and police get there. And in the police video from the police cruiser, you can see and you can hear audio from it. And Skylar, the lifeguard in training, is calming Tara. She's helping her to the side. And Tara, in a complete just panic about everything going on, calls her mom, and she apologizes to her mom for killing her husband.
I would be furious at my mom for having me almost killed. Excuse me, mother. Your crap husband almost killed me, so I had to kill him back.
So I had to stab him in the eyeball. Like, craziness. So John is unconscious and dies 4 days later. Now, Tara and little Cash are taken to the hospital, and I love the picture that they pop up on the screen. Yes. And it's Tara just bleeding and laying in this hospital bed, and Cash, the dog, is laying between her feet and is like protecting his mama.
I absolutely had tears in my eyes when I saw that picture. How wonderful of this pup to just like be so protective. I know his mama. And how traumatic for her. How traumatic for Tara.
I feel like that is something, no matter what happens in your life, like, you're not going to be able to get over.
No, I would never allow my mother to date again.
Right?
I don't think I would date again.
Right? So Tara tells her story to police, which, if you think about it, like, if I was a police officer going in to interview this woman who had just been through this ordeal, I'd be like, what the hell is your family doing?
Right.
Like, how do you get into this situation?
Absolutely.
The Newport police find lots of things in John's car. Now, remember, he was trying to push Tara into the trunk of his car. And what do they find, Tina?
They find more knives, zip ties, duct tape, and his passport. And they say that it looked like he had planned this all out.
Did you notice the knives? One of them looked like one of those like meat cleavers.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
You didn't notice that?
I didn't want to look, to be honest.
Oh, well, yeah, it looked like one of those, those cleaver things that they like use at butcher shops when they're like chopping up the meat.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what he was planning to do. Thankfully, he never got there.
Mm-hmm. Tara and her mom, and what I would believe would be the whole family, is nervous and worried that Tara's going to get charged with this.
Mm-hmm.
And they interview in the show, and the show is The Women in a Dirty John by Dateline, Matt Murphy, who is the Orange County DA at the time. And he says they pretty much knew right away that it was self-defense, and it was a very easy decision not to try Tara in this case.
Case closed.
Says that Deborah still struggles with guilt. Obviously, she still struggles with guilt. Like, I feel as a mom, that's something that you carry with you. Like, you're the reason this happened.
Yeah, she does say that she struggles with guilt, and she does believe Tara saved her life and the lives of other possible victims.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it odd how little emotion that she shows throughout this whole interview. Her daughter almost died.
Yeah.
I feel like she doesn't really have a lot of emotion behind, like, when she talks about it.
I feel though people respond to things differently, and it's probably also a coping mechanism at this point. I mean, who knows?
Who knows? I didn't like it, though. I was like, hey, your daughter almost died. Can you just show some sort of emotion? I would just be, I don't know.
I would be
in
falling
tears.
apart. Yeah.
It would be really hard to probably even talk about it. But
yeah.
Anyway, Tara was the hero.
Yeah. Tara was the absolute hero.
She seems to me, I mean, she told us most of the story. She's the strong, but she's got such a soft voice too. You know, she seems like very
gentle,
very cutesy, very soft voice of a person, but she's super tough.
I mean, the zombie kill.
Yeah, I mean, but to do it all, like to investigate, to uncover, hire the private investigator, to go and look for all of the information, to try to get your mom to see the things that you're seeing, and then to fight him off when he's trying to kill you. I mean, the strength of this girl is
incredible.
Tara
has been diagnosed with PTSD.
Understandably.
And in the show, she actually does something very, I think, moving. She goes back with the narrator, Keith Morrison, to the actual spot where John tried to kill her. And Keith Morrison actually tells her, like, hey, you're a tough lady. And she kind of just giggles and says, that's what I've been told. How cool.
I know. I really like her.
I like her too.
And remember that John had 2 daughters from his first marriage.
Yeah.
We also hear Tanya, their mom, saying, you know, she was mostly sad hearing about John's death because she had to tell her daughters about it. The daughters are 16 and 21 at the time of his death.
Yeah.
And according to Tanya, the daughters say that what they regret is not being able to show him how well that they turned out in spite of him.
The thing what gets me too is we don't know how many other Deborahs and how many other Tanyas there have been.
No.
That is not even something that is explored in the show. There's probably still tons of women out there who had run-ins with John Meehan, or who knows what name he was going with.
Who knows?
What he put them through.
Yeah, it's such a good episode and a fascinating story. There's also an entire podcast about this story called Dirty John. It goes into all the details. We only saw an hour-long. Is it an hour-long episode?
It was like an hour-long episode of Dateline.
Oh, the amount of details that we didn't get to see are in the podcast, and it's such a good one. It's such a good one to listen to.
Yes.
And there's also a show called Dirty John on Netflix.
I saw that. I watched it because it has Connie Britton in it, and I have loved her since she was in Friday Night Lights, and then she was in Nashville.
I loved her in Nashville.
So amazing.
Yeah, she's great. There's 2 seasons of Dirty John. The first season is about John Meehan.
Ugh.
I'm sorry, I had to say that stupid name.
Yeah, don't say that name.
The one we're talking about is the first season. It's a must watch.
I watched it when it first came out, and I remember I didn't know about this Dateline episode when I watched the Connie Britton show, and I was just like, how does this happen?
I love
how
how
does
you
this
called
happen?
it the Connie Britton show. It's amazing. That's what it should be called.
I don't like John Meehan. I like Connie Britton. I like Deborah. I like Tara. I like Tanya.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate everybody listening to us this week. Go check out Dateline season 26. I think it's episode 13. The Women and Dirty John. I watched on Peacock. It's a really good one to watch.
Agree. And if you liked our episode,
Yeah,
go ahead and give us 5 stars.
I like it.
If you don't like it, that's okay. Just don't say nothing.
Yeah. Move on.
Moving on.
Maybe try us again next week.
Yeah, maybe we have a new story for you. Don't give up on us.
We're still figuring out this whole podcast thing.
That's right. You can also find us at twocrimenewsies.com.
You can find us on social media. We're on Instagram, Two Crime Newsies.
We have a Gmail, twocrimenewsies@gmail.com.
And if you have any ideas of shows that you like, that you think we might like, let us know. Shoot us an email.
Leave us a comment, shoot us an email. We would love to hear about it.
Yeah. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.